Well, first of all, I would like to start saying that we're not coming to complain about what the role of the Prime Minister in this process. Our coming here is an information mission, just to inform the African nations and the people we're going to visit of the reality of the crisis, and through them inform the whole world. And the crisis in Cote d'Ivoire has been prevailing for some time, and what we're trying to look for is the support to Cote d'Ivoire from countries, organizations, and all the stakeholders who can play a role for peace to be restored. So, in a word, the national crisis in Cote d'Ivoire is not well known, and our role is to inform, but we're not coming to complain about Raila Odinga's role in it. We instead commend him for the role he played, and we believe that in the times to come, he might play another role. Just to continue the process and see how peace can be restored definitely in the country. It is not to us to decide whether Prime Minister Raila Odinga should continue the mediation process or not, because he's been sent by the African Union and they are the ones to decide. What we can say here is that all African countries have to be involved, to be involved in the process, as Cote d'Ivoire is also part of the continent. And as I'm saying, the idea here maybe is to revisit the content of his mission as mediator and see how we can avoid discontenting, the nations. Part of the nation. His mediation should be peaceful and equity-based. And as you know, we are on the edge of the AU summit where head of state, ministers are going to meet. And we wanted to seize the opportunity to come and inform the Kenyan authorities and tell them the real story behind all this crisis and see how they can convey the information as they get there. So we are not trying to say that he has to change his mission or they have to change him. This is left to African Union to decide.
D'abord, ce qu'il faut comprendre,
well, first of all, what we have to understand here is that
un certain nombre de personnes en Côte d'Ivoire ne sont pas très attachées
who are not very much
à l'idée de démocratie,
to the idea of democracy,
souhaitent une solution militaire à la crise ivoirienne.
Are supporting a military solution to this crisis.
Il faut que les pays africains prennent résolument
African countries
la position opposée.
Must resolutely take the opposite position against this war, this forced solution.
Parce que tout coup de feu qui est tiré est susceptible d'entraîner un mort et même des
Because
morts.
any fire or any gunshot is likely to take the life of a citizen.
Et aujourd'hui en Afrique, ce n'est pas ce dont on a besoin.
And today in Africa, this is not what we like to
Donc,
have.
nous voulons une solution pacifique à
So
la crise
we
ivoirienne.
are pleading for a peaceful solution to the Ivorian crisis.
Et la solution pacifique peut être effectivement
And the African peaceful solution can
de comprendre ce qui s'est passé dans la réalité.
can lead us to understand what really happened in this crisis.
C'est pour cela que nous pensons qu'il serait pas, il serait judicieux
And this is why we think that it would be very much useful
que des personnes suffisamment courageuses et
for
extérieures
people who
à la
are
crise ivoirienne
courageous and that are outside of the crisis,
et qui ne sont pas impliqués comme certains États, le Burkina Faso,
who are not
le
involved like
Sénégal,
other states like Senegal, Burkina
la
Faso,
France,
or France,
que ces personnes-là puissent venir en Côte
and
d'Ivoire
that
pour
these
évaluer
people come to pay visit to
les
Cote d'Ivoire
conditions
to
dans
assess objectively the conditions
dans
under
lesquelles elles
which
sont faites,
the
pour évaluer
election
pourquoi
were
le Conseil
conducted
constitutionnel a
and to
invalidé ou
evaluate
pas.
why, or to try to know why, the Constitutional Court invalidated the results.
Et pour apprécier, pour donc recompter les voix
And
en tenant
also
compte de cet environnement.
make a recount of the vote, taking into account the environment that prevailed during the crisis, during the election process.
C'est pour cela que Laurent Gbagbo appelle à recompter les voix
And
sur
this
la
is why
base
our President Gbagbo is calling for a recount of the
de ces
vote
critères tout simplement.
based on all these criteria.
Et il s'engage à respecter
And he
l'avis des
commits
experts
himself to comply with the advice or the opinion of the experts.
C'est pour cela que nous pensons que pour le sommet de l'Union africaine qui se tient,
And this is why we think that for the West African Union summit to be held,
que l'Union africaine prenne une
it
position
will be
claire
very
et énergique
important that the African Union takes
sur le
a
rejet
clear
de toute solution
and
militaire
energetic position on the military solution as
Et
to
sur
solve the Ivorian crisis.
une solution qui procéderait du respect
They
des
should
institutions
rather
ivoiriennes
consider a solution that will respect the Ivorian institutions and the nation,
avec ce comité
So-
d'experts qui viendrait pour
and they will
recompter les
maybe
voix, examiner les
form
conditions de
or
l'élection
appoint a committee of experts that will come to the country and recount the votes, taking into account all the criteria, all the things that happen in the environment during the electoral process in the country. Soumettre à cette décision.
Ah, bien sûr,
Well, of course, he's a man, he will agree to it.
bien sûr. Mais je voudrais préciser que là où nous parlons aujourd'hui, comme je l'ai précisé avant,
I would like to specify that
le pays est toujours
there's,
occupé.
we are talking
Les
about,
rebelles
we are talking
sont
now,
toujours en armes.
the country is still occupied and the northern part of the country is occupied by rebels. They're still seriously armed.
Et nous
There.
précisons qu'il n'y a pas eu véritablement d'élection dans les zones que les
And I
rebelles
would like to
ont sous leur contrôle.
restate that there really have not been any serious disarmament
Donc nous
in the
sommes
rebel
convaincus
control area.